Ephesians chapter 6. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. It's very important for children to understand these verses. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Parents have a responsibility to teach the children about God and His Word. They have a responsibility to study the Bible and to teach their family the Bible. Maybe sitting at home at the dinner table or whenever they go outside to play ball or drive to the grocery store or have entertainment such as playing the guitar or making music. Parents have a responsibility to teach their children about God. You see a lot of parents today that seem concerned about making a living rather than serving God. And this is not good. Families should seek God first. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. This is what parents need to know. They need to know how to read. They should teach their children how to read so they can read the Bible and so they can learn about God, what God would have them to do, not what they need materially. God will take care of those things. God will give them the food and the clothing and the shelter that they need. Parents don't need to be concerned about material things first. They need to be concerned about raising their children up in nurture of God and admonition of the Lord, warning the child not to do this and not to do that, and encouraging the child to do this and do that. Everything that is good. And the Bible has the direction concerning anything and everything. And this is our main source of study, not MIT or Yale or Harvard. People that go to these schools and leave God out, they miss the most important thing in life. Education is great, but leaving God out is not. And putting God in is what counts, and it should begin in the home, teaching little children as they grow up, as they crawl, as they walk, and teach them to memorize the scriptures. Some good scriptures to memorize are 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter, Psalms 23, Psalms 1. But study the whole Bible, and parents need to teach their children the things of the Bible. Let's look at 1 Corinthians 13. I'm going to start at verse 4. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. I won't read the whole chapter, but it's a great chapter, and it teaches you a lot about love. Charity is love. I'm reading that from the King James Version, and that's about 400 years old or so. There are modern translations that people use. You don't have to use the King James, but a lot of people still like it. I recommend people studying the Bible to use parallel sources, such as maybe the King James with there used to be a version called the Living Bible, and then you could check that also with maybe the American Standard or some other versions. But the idea is to get the meaning out of the verse. And so that takes a little study, and you can use a concordance with the King James, which will give you the Greek and Hebrew meanings of the words when they were written. And that is a great way to study in depth. Now let's go to Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Very beautiful Psalm of David. So the point I want to get across is that parents' main obligation is to live for God and to raise a family that will live for God. And this does not take a lot of money, doesn't take a new car, doesn't take a new home, doesn't even take new clothes. It takes a will to want to obey God and study for Him and have your family study for Him. Have a great day.